Rest for the wicket for Blackburn Rovers, of course, as we take on Sunderland this midweek in the Tony Mowbray Bradley Dack derby. Of course, who's going to come out on top? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks. Back was getting another match preview. Look forward to a Rovers match up against Sunderland this coming Wednesday. And we'll get to that in just 1 second. Of course, if you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button, bang on to all things Rovers related, bloody championship related, world football related. I just switched the lights on. Everything that I've just had an idea, of course, is to turn the lights on. Of course, we are looking forward to, of course, the big one, Ewood Park, as Rovers hope to make it back-to-back wins. Of course, back-to-back home games, of course, in a very busy part of the season as games are coming thick and fast. We'll talk about it in a second, of course. Big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. You know who you are. But let's get into it. Of course, recap what we're talking about. Of course, we are talking about this. It is Rovers. It is Sunderland. It is at Ewood Park. So for the Sunderland fans out there who don't know too much about Rovers, this is for you, for this segment anyway. Of course, recapping what Rovers is all about. Of course, we are managed by JDT, a.k.a. John Dal Thomason, who was, of course, a bit popular figure over in the northeast, but it was the black and white half, of course, for Newcastle as a player. But he's our coach right now on a contract till 2025, so hopefully that will remain. His record against Sunderland, of course, he's managed against them twice, 1-1, lost one, and that's of course the same record against Tony Mowbray, 1-1 and lost one. Key player, or the most valuable player, we would say, according to Transfermarkt. Other people would say differently, and I would be one of those people. But Tyree Stolen is our most valuable player, of course. So he is coming out at €8 million, something like that. Of course, our squad consists of 27 players, average age of 23.1, 9 foreigners and 1 national team player. Is that Walstad? Who is that national player? Let me know in the comments. These are, of course, the current crop of Rovers players right here, right now. As you can see, Pear's number 1, or is he? Walstad competed for that number 1 jersey. And, of course, the defenders include Loney, James Hill, Callum Britton was red hot the other day, and, of course, Big Don Hyam, amongst others, of course. Take a look at our midfield generals. Could this be the match that we see the Icelandic superstar Sigurdsson pulling on the blue and white shirt for the first time? It could very well be, you know. He's very close. He's edging closer. Wasn't involved in the game against Middlesbrough. He may get a bench start this time around. So slowly but surely, players are going to be become more and more important. These signings that we made throughout the summer, because they've not really had too much a change to the team. You know, we've got a new goalkeeper on. He's had 1 game, and that was in the cup. We've had Tronstadt 1 game, Ennis a handful of a couple of cameos. So the likes of Sigurdsson, Tronstadt, Televic as well will become more crucial as we try to string some results together. Hedges, of course, in the mix there. Of course, question marks remain about Travis. Question marks remain about Gallagher. And when we get to my lineup, I have excluded them for this game, but it's not my decision, is it? It's really JDT's decision. Take a look at the stats, and of course the main man is Smodic. Of course, 4 goals this campaign ain't too shabby, guys. Hedges, Gallagher, McInday, and Leonard also on the score sheet so far this season. The key players, though, have been Smodic as well, 7.58 on average this season, with Hedges up there as well. The creative force on that right-hand side. Wharton, of course, big time, big asset for us, and then Dom High and Travis Pears, and of course the rest is as you say. Take a little look then, of course, at the stats overall for Rovers. On average, a 7.00 for each and every one of the players this season for Rovers in the Championship. We've played 6 matches, scored 8. We have conceded 9, which is a glaring error, or a glaring part of our game that we need to rectify if we're going to be serious contenders about those top 6 spots. Of course, attacking. Averaging 1.3 goals a game, and most of them, in fact, all of them, have come with the 8 with the right foot. No left foot goals thus far, and Rovers have hit the woodwork 3 times throughout the season. Of course, just 1 red card, Pickering at the minute, with an average of 54% possession for Rovers. We've just kept 1 clean sheet now. Again, that could be a humongous optimism or expectation that maybe a change of goalkeeper is on the offering, but Pears I thought was good against Middlesbrough, and I think he will remain in number 1 unless this demand of a game every 3 days will change it up a little bit. Let's take a look at the form then for Rovers coming into this Of course, big 2-1 win at Ewood. Massive result for us, not only against a struggling team of Middlesbrough, who realistically probably shouldn't be down there with the quality of players and manager as well. So we needed to get that result. Of course, we did get a bit of a spanking pre-international break, so it was good to get right back on it. And of course, hopefully continue that into midweek. Speaking of what's coming ahead for us after this game, we build up for Ipswich on Saturday. It's the first time we played them in a long time, so it's if we can get something at Sunderland, then maybe nick a draw at Ipswich, then it'll be a good haul of points thus far before Catamount Cup match up against Cardiff at Ewood Park. And then we look into October. We've got Leicester, then we've got Coventry, and then QPR. The games are, of course, non-stop right here, right now, with Rovers. Well, this is my team for this one. Of course, like I said before, Travis not involved. So, expected not be involved because we have a big crunching tackle and Gallagher was pulled off as well. So we're going to go with pairs remaining in between the sticks for them. We've got Pickering, Hyam, Carter and Britton. That back four at the minute picks itself. Costello, maybe you can argue for that right back spot. But he is in my team in replacing of Travis. He did come on and he had a couple of good moments as well. Again, he looks a little bit clumsy on the ball for me, but it just not that he is clumsy, he just looks a little like goofy playing football. Not just a little bit wonky. That's just my own thing. Don't worry. Don't read it too much about it. It does say up there Scotty Wharton in midfield. That's wrong. That should be Adam Wharton. Editor, you're fired. And Smodic as well in that trio. Then we've got Tyrese, Harry Leonard and Hedges. But again, you could include Sigurdsson, you could include Moran, you could include, who else we got? Ennis, maybe, is he back? Is he anywhere near back? So, and again, Mac and Day, Televic might start, Gallagher might start as well. So there was a lot of question marks and uncertainty, particularly because the games are so fast. We don't have much time to build up for this one. If this was the weekend, then I'd probably more than likely have Travis and Gallagher back, but I just don't think the turnaround time is good enough for them to make it. Okay, then let's take a look at our visitors. And it is Tony Mowbray, of course, his gang, his Sunderland gang. Of course, his record against Rovers, 1.83 points per match. That's against Rovers, not as Rovers manager. 1.83. He's actually managed against us 6 times, winning 3 of them, drawing 2 times, and losing just the once. That was last year. And of course, his record against JDT is 1.50 points per match. His rate or his ratio for as a manager himself, 1.47 points per match. Of course, he is an experienced manager, been around the block a long time. Jack Clark, the most valuable player on the books for Sunderland, 12 million euros. They do have a bigger squad than us, 34 players, 14 foreigners, 4 national team players with an average age of 21.9. So they have also got one of the youngest squads in the league as well. Let's take a look then at, of course, some of those players, starting with the defence. We've got Bishop and Patterson. Patterson, of course, number 1 at the moment. Then, of course, we're looking at the defence with Sealt in there, Luke O'Neill, of course, Daniel Ballard. It is a very, very young defensive line there. Of course, no more matey boy there, Danny Bath, moving on. But, very young defence there. Into midfield, of course, we've got Bradley Jack, familiar face there. Could he play? Could he feature? He was not involved in the game on the weekend, so I'm not sure where he is fitness-wise. Pritchard, of course, created a player, Patrick Roberts, Joby Bellingham, a lot of responsibility put on his shoulders these days. And up top, you got like Burstow, you got the Ukrainian Russian, and of course a couple other faces that may or may not be familiar to us because they are pretty new to the scene. Let's take a look at the goals then. Goals coming at you from Jack Clark, 3 so far. Then of course we've got Enquire, he's got a couple of goals there. Joby Bellingham, Dak, Rigg, Neil and Ballard as well at the back. Of course, let's take a look at the best players on the books so far. It has been Jack Clark, show 7.62. Of course, Bradley Dax up there with 7.3 alongside Rigg, Dan Neil as well, and of course the chasing bloody pack. Those, of course, are some of the key players for Sunderland these days. Let's kick it on forward then and take a look at where the numbers are coming from. 7.04 on average for Sunderland thus far. They have played 6 games, scoring 12 goals, conceding 6, with 8 assists thus far. Of course, 2 goals on average per game, and of course, 5 of them coming from the right-hand side, 4 right-footed, 4 left-footed, 3 headed goals as well. They hit the woodwork just the twice in their games thus far. 58.5% ball possession. Of course, just 1 red card as well this campaign, and 2 clean sheets to boot. This is what's coming up ahead for Sunderland as they build up to this game on Wednesday. They've got Cardiff waiting on the weekend. Then it's Wednesday, of course, to complete the month of September. Then it's Watford. Then it's Middlesbrough, and then a tricky away day. Let's take a look at what's been going on for Sunderland recently then. Of course, coming into on the back of a 3-1 win over QPR. Prior to that, though, 5-0 demolition job of Southampton. That was pre-international break, of course. Before that, 0-0 draw against Coventry. Of course, 2-1 win over Rotherham and a 2-1 loss to Preston North End. So not bad for Sunderland. Unbeaten in 4 then. Looking A-OK, scoring 8 goals in 2 games. Quick look at my expected team for the Mackhams on this one. We've got Petson between the sticks. We've got Huggins, Ballard, O'Neill and Hume at the back with Ekwar, Neal, Clark, Pritchard and Barr making the trio with Joby Bellingham leading the line. Again, not sure about the striking department for Sunderland in these early campaigns. Let's take a look then over the recent record between these two sides. Of course, as we gear up for this one, of course, a recent encounter shows. Let me just adjust this 1 second. That's a little bit better. Of course, heading into this, both at Ewood and, of course, at Stadium of Light, they played each other 6 times. Rovers winning 2 of them, Sunderland winning 3, and it's been 1 draw, of course. And the last time they played each other was at Sunderland. It was a 2-1 win. I was at the van rental place, picking up our van as we were driving down to Georgia this day. Didn't get to watch this one. I think Pete might have been on the microphone, that one. He will be on the microphone for this one as well. So 2-1 win it was for Sunderland in a mad game as well. Let's take a look then at the recent results at Ewood Park, though. Rovers much better on this one. Played 6, won 3, drawn 2 and lost 1. That one defeat was way back in November 2008, a long time ago, with the likes of Kenwy Jones and Cisse on the score sheet. Chris Samba getting the Rovers goal on that one. So, but last round at Ewood, 2-0 win. In fact, it's been back-to-back 2-0 wins for Rovers. In fact, the last 3, we haven't conceded a goal against them at Ewood, but that's stretching all the way back to 2010 in the likes of Samba and co. Kicking on forward then, let's take a look at the form. A little bit more detail. Rovers home form, winning 3 and losing just the 1. That one loss was against Hull when we were down to 10 men, in control as well of that game. It was a little bit of a weird one. Up against Sunderland, though, just 1 win on the road. That was the most recent one against QPR. So hopefully we can take full advantage of that wonky kind of form for Sunderland and get the big fat W on this one. Let's take a look at what we can expect from this game heading into this one then. Rovers' strengths are, of course, counter-attacks, creating chances through individual skill. Our weaknesses, though, then there's a bunch of them. Scoring chances offside, avoiding offside, defending counter-attacks, defending set pieces, avoiding fouling in dangerous areas, aerial duels, defending against long shots, and stopping opponents from creating chances. Our style of play, though, short passes and very non-aggressive. Meanwhile, Sunderland's strengths, and there's a bunch of those, attacking down the wings, creating chances through individual skill, coming back from losing positions, scoring chances, finishing scoring chances, attacking set pieces, protecting the lead, and defending set pieces. Their weaknesses, though, are defending against through ball attacks and aerial duels. Style of play, controlling the game in the opposition half. They prefer to come down the left, short passes, possession football, and consistent first 11. They're also non-aggressive. The forecast says Sunderland will create many scoring chances and will also score from a set piece situation, but there'll be a low number of cards in this match. Just take a look then, of course, at the broader things for this one. Rovers at the top, Sunderland down the bottom. The form for Rovers, winning 3 of the last 4. Sunderland, though, unbeaten the last 4. Of course, their value for their squad, 62 million euros compared to the 52.5 for Rovers. They got a better value there, just slightly 2.07 compared to 1.94. Again, average age 22.7 for Sunderland, 23.7 for Rovers. Again, more national team players, more youth national team players, and more foreigners as well compared to Rovers. Let's take a look at the grand scheme of things. And 25 times they played each other since 1997. Rovers do have the edge, 9 victories to the 8. Of course, our biggest win was a 2-0 win. They, of course, have a better one with a 3-0 win. They've actually scored more goals than us in those 25 games, 26 to our 24, which works out around about 1.04 goals a game ratio for Sunderland, 0.96 for Rovers. Again, both sides coming to us on 58% form, and of course, both sides on 10 points as well. It smells like a draw, really. We're going to be, I'm completely honest with you. The bookies, though, 5-4 for Rovers, 21-10 is your Sunderland, and 5-2 is that draw. Looking around the grounds, of course, across the Championship, let's take a look at it. Preston, of course, table toppers, will take on Birmingham, a chance to maybe extend the lead, with Coventry taking on Cardiff in Wales, QPR, Swansea, relegation 6-pointer, Southampton, Ipswich will also be a banger, as with Bristol City, Plymouth, and Sheffield Wednesday against Middlesbrough, another 6-pointer down the foot. Into Wednesday, it's Millwall, Rotherham, it's Watford, West Brom, Hull City, Leeds United, Huddersfield against Stoke, Norwich City against Leicester City, and a banger as well. But of course, all eyes at Ewood Park as Rovers take on Sunderland. Again, I will not be behind the microphone. Pete will be there. I've got to do my due diligence at work, but I'll keeping a sneaky eye on the game for this one. Of course, both sides are smack dab in the playoff chat right now, both on 10 points as well, as they look forward to make strides maybe into the playoffs for this weekend's action. Of course, take a look at the goal scorers right now. Is Hardy Show with 5 goals so far, 56% contribution for him. Armstrong's up there with Smodic in good company as well. Rowe, Keane, Tufan, Connolly, McAteer, Jack Clark sneaks his name in there in the number 9 spot with Godden in the top 10. The assist makers, though, no Sunderland, no Rovers players in sight, but of course, there it is in all your glory. And if I'm going to have to be pushed for a prediction on this game, I'm going to go with Rovers on this one. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. I just think home form is massive for us. Tails are up. Smodic was in great form, and of course, a little bit. I'm not too sure about Sunderland's away form. Don't get me wrong; this will be a tight game, and it might be like a 0-0 at the break, perhaps, and of course, maybe a late brace or a late couple of goals there for Rovers to get us over the line. But don't get me wrong; if the game was flipped around, of course, I sure would back Sunderland on this one as a betting man. But right now, Rovers have to win their home games. And of course, we'll see how they get on their away matches. But that, my friends, is what I've got for you in a very, very short, sharp, brief preview for the game. But of course, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, hit the way. We may or may not have a vlog on this one. We'll see. It's been a little bit ropey with the turnaround, traveling, and of course, folks away on vacation and all that kind of business. But until then, subscribe, thumbs up, and of course, catch you later for the next one.